We are here with Austin. Austin, tell us about yourself for people who don't know you.
Yeah, well, I mean, there's a lot there, but right now I'm co-founder and CEO of Bonfire, a new community platform that just launched 3 weeks ago. Beyond that, I'm a designer and developer. When I say developer, I mean front end, back end. I leave that to Hugo, my co-founder. Um, but I love making things, and I'm especially passionate about the social space and creating um, really good products that bring people together.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll ask you a lot of questions regarding to Bonfire because now I'm getting asked and my friends are following you and the social networks and everybody wants to know about this. But let's start with how did you start, some achievements, some stuff you did in your career until now. And how old you are right now?
Right now I'm 21, and I got started with design and development probably when I was 10 years old or so. Um, it, it's kind of funny because I was playing what in the States we call travel baseball. It's probably the same elsewhere, but pretty much every day, every hour of free time I was playing baseball and didn't really have much time outside of that. So kind of my getaway or whatever you want to call it from that whole world was being on my computer. I'd play these like car racing games, things like that. But early on, I was kind of like really interested in graphic design. So I got really familiar with Photoshop. And then as time progressed, started designing websites a little bit, learning how to code them. And then when I was 15, I got my first iPhone, saved up probably for a whole year, cutting tons of lawns to buy that first phone. And because I dished out so much money and because I worked so hard on it, when we had like a 20-hour car ride from Chicago to Florida. And I didn't want to just like sit around. I didn't want to like sleep. I didn't want to do anything boring. So I turned on my personal hotspot and I learned how to code my first app. Just like pretty much anyone else making their first app, I went with the calculator one. So it was named Callie, named after my dog at the time, which has Cal for calculator in it. Emailed some Apple blogs and got some press coverage for it early on. So that paid for my phone outright, paid for the
Really?
developer account. Yeah, and so it was fun for me because like I knew how to design these things, but I didn't know necessarily how to make them functional yet. So I had lots of ideas, and this is the first time where I actually took those designs and kind of like meshed them with code to make something kind of unique. So yeah, I got some coverage, paid for my phone, which made me feel really good about that. And it kind of showed me that like I can almost do this as like a hobby, or like my hobby could turn into almost a business. So I saw that. I also saw how like my age was a benefit. Being 15 years old, it's very easy to convince news outlets to write a story about you, just because it's a very feel-good story.
You convinced
Um,
them? You send those emails to
yeah.
yes.
So the 20 hours to Florida, I was developing it, and then the last 19 on the way back, I was also developing it, and then the last hour before we got home, I was submitting it to Apple, and then typing up emails to all these Apple blogs.
Wow.
And I was lucky enough that some of them wrote about it, got some coverage for it, and yeah, it was a lot of fun. And then kind of piggybacking on that success, a few months later, I had someone that reached out to me with an app idea for a game. I had a free weekend, so I started developing this game called Impossible Rush, and it's super simple in concept. It's a colored ball. There's only 4 colors. Colored ball that drops from the top of the screen, and then you've got like a 4-sided cube essentially, and every time you tap it, rotates it, and then you just match the color. It gets faster and faster. This is the time where like Flappy Bird and all those like really like short, quick games were coming out. So the timing was great. We launched it, and then after a week, I think it peaked at like number 16 top free app in the U.S. So it received over 1 million downloads. My friend was at Starbucks, and the person in front of them was playing my game. There were a lot of like these cool moments that came out of it, and that like beyond the whole business side, it really showed me that like how literally someone sitting in a room, even though I was 15 at the time, was able to code something in a weekend and all of a sudden millions of people are using it and having
Really.
fun with it. So that really like opened my mind to all of that.
And
So that was
it
my
opened
first like quote.
did it open you to more possibilities, opportunities because of the press? I guess you got some, requests from people or.
Yeah. So like anytime like something like successful happens or like something like that happens, press is bound to come eventually. So I was fortunate enough to get featured on a lot of like news channels here in the States, like WGN, NBC, Forbes, Huffington Post. Like just I could rattle them off, but like after you get a few of them, it's very easy to land tons of others. But
Mhm.
so there's a lot of this media that covered it. Also Australia, because the person I made it with is from there. Um, so yeah, there's a lot of coverage. There are a lot of people like writing me emails because they had seen it. It was really really neat. And because that, like probably my favorite part of the whole Impossible Rush story, if you want to call it that, is the coverage led to a lot of people asking if I'd be able to do a keynote for their conference or event and stuff like that. So I did a number of them here in the U.S. and then also is near that brought me to Israel to do a keynote there. Did one in the Netherlands as well. And the whole point there was just to show in the same like vein of like what I've like spoken here about is that even or like your age shouldn't be a limitation. Even if you're 15, my app was higher than Netflix or all these other companies that are paying millions of dollars. It's kind of like that Steve Jobs garage story of just if you've got a computer, you can build it and you can do it. Your age isn't a limitation. And I think it's really important to kind of inspire and show other kids that coding isn't this thing that's like insanely hard to understand or grasp. Like, sure, it has its challenges, but if you put in the work and you get over that learning curve,
Mhm.
it's opened up the world to me. Really, like the amount of people I've met or opportunities I've gotten because of it are just countless.
Yeah, speaking
Yeah,
speaking globally, I think it opened you up to, Australia with the press there and giving a talk in the US and then Europe.
yep.
Really got you like to many different audiences and meeting other developers and opportunities and suddenly like the world is small and with lots of opportunities. Uh,
Yeah, no, exactly. Yeah, it really opens up, and some of my best friends came out of that period. So,
yeah.
very fortunate.
So
Yeah.
I want to talk to you about so many things. Of course, there is a Corona now. I guess you're doing it from you're working from home.
Hmm.
I want to ask you about of course your new venture here with Hugo, and also how does Corona affect you? How do you work on it? Because you just launched on Product Hunt. So tell us what's going on and how you dealing, and maybe it's a positive turnout to you because now people need more communication.
Yeah, yeah. Well, personally, I was in New York City, and a few months ago, I actually, before it got too bad, came down to Texas with family. So on that side of things, things are a little different because I'm used to Hugo, my co-founder, and I meeting up at a number of different Starbucks across the city and just working from 9 to 5 or 9 to 6 or sometimes even later. But so I'm used to that, like meeting up in coffee shops and working there. So now, like working remotely, it's very different, but at the same time, having one co-founder is very manageable.
Yeah.
Um, so that's kind of like the personal side. But in terms of like Bonfire, it's actually it's good timing. Obviously, like we wouldn't wish this upon anything, but um, we thought like no matter what, like it's good timing for a new social app to emerge. It's bound to happen, and the tide is really changing. Um, there's this huge opportunity right now, and combined with quarantine, it presents an even better opportunity because people have more time on their hands. Um, but the reason why we started Bonfire is because a year ago, um, Hugo and I saw that a lot of social apps today really aren't that social. So if you see like Twitter or Instagram, or you're on the subway and you see people using it, there's a lot of like scrolling, stopping, double tapping, and moving on, but there isn't much actual like social engagement. people conversing or replying. And sure, that happens on like a lot of platforms today, but that's usually the more like extroverted people.
Mm-hmm.
So we wanted to kind of like take the like social space back to its roots. So I think like it started as like these social networks, and now it's social media, and that name change is pretty drastic if you think about it. It went from a place where people are actually talking to a lot of consumption. So that's like one of our primary things is we want to be like the one place where conversations happen. And we think the best way to do that is inside of groups. And it's kind of funny that like group Facebook like mentioned that their whole shift is happening towards groups, because we were already working on that and we already had that thesis for a few months before that release. So we genuinely think inside of groups people are, first of all, like more authentic, which has never been more important, and they also share way more. And it gets really powerful when you break outside of this broadcasting model that like Twitter or Instagram have, where you're trying to create one message that fits all these bubbles in your life, whether it's like an ex-girlfriend or your mom or your best friends, like all these different groups in your life, or even internet strangers.
Mm-hmm.
It's just very unnatural for us as humans to create one thing that fits all those bubbles. So Bonfire has these things called camps, which right now resemble like essentially groups, or if it was like a group Twitter feed, really. Um, and what we found is that like, yeah, people are way more authentic. Like we have some of these like funny camps popping up, like mirror selfies, where people
Yeah,
literally
I
go
saw
in
this.
there. There's over 50 members in it, and they just take a picture of themselves in the mirror and then just post it out there, no edits. And that kind of like speaks to this whole like feeling that we're trying to like replicate of like you're sitting around a bonfire with your friends, just having casual conversation. You're all brought together because of one interest, and you're all gathered around one thing. In that case, would be a fire. But like on Bonfire, it's like, yeah, you're brought together because you're all there to share mirror selfies, or you're all there to share hot takes, or you're all FC Barcelona fans. You
Yeah,
have one thing that's tying you together.
I
And
really
so
like
far,
it.
it's
Yeah.
so far it's been going really great, and I think a lot of people are realizing that this is certainly a healthier alternative to what's out there. Um, and yeah, it's going really well. You caught us at like a fun time because, or an exciting time, because we're about to approach like some really big like growth opportunities, and about to like turn that on per se. So it's kind of like the calm before the storm that we're preparing for.
Yeah, I saw you also hiring or something, looking for developers.
Yeah, yeah. So we closed on a little over 100,000 to start hiring people. We're still raising more right now because we'd love to bring on more people. I mean, we're one of those things where we could have 100 people working on it, and there's still more to do. So yeah, right now we actually just signed our first iOS engineer, or what am I talking about? Web developer.
Yeah,
And then we're talking to iOS engineer right now
yeah.
too. So it's exciting. We've also actually hired Jonathan Kingsley, who I met because of you here. He's been doing some contract work for us and doing this stuff that he's really good at. Like he's good at like SQL queries and all that fun stuff.
Yeah, he's gonna work
So
with you for sure. Yeah,
he's been crushing it.
a lot of people are asking me about it. I mean, I'm getting it's all over, and also with the username, right? Was it with a rush for the username? There was, getting it something, right?
Oh my gosh, the username thing. Okay, so oh man, so we launched like 3 weeks ago, and about like a week or two ago, that one of like the number one username websites for buying and selling like good usernames. There's a thread on there about bonfire usernames, and apparently that thread got so popular that they made a whole section for us on the forum. So we're sitting alongside Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, all these big names, and then there's Bonfire. We're still very early, so we think it's hilarious. But like our usernames are being sold for like $10 to $30. My girlfriend with @J, which you can't get in the app, you can't get like 1 or 2 letter usernames. Someone offered her $10,000 for it. Like there's all this bizarre stuff happening, like people creating scripts to claim lots of usernames, which we're not going to allow, like, once we roll out a few more things. But yeah, it's just absolutely bizarre. Like there's a guy that's made over $500 selling usernames already,
Wow.
which is funny. I mean, for us is very validating. We're going to limit that. Like you can't do that in the future. But for us, it's very validating that people think, or people are willing to bet on Bonfire's future and think it's going to be successful enough that they're willing to put money down on it. So
Yeah,
yeah,
people
that's
like
been
celebrities,
absolutely bizarre.
this whole thing of influencers, celebrities, everybody wants to get a username, and that also a part of the buzz because you launched. I mean, I was on the beta before, but once you launched, I got so many like requests even before. Can you get us on? Can you get us on? I said, wait. And then when you launched, like it was like a gold rush. Like people were like, I got this username.
Yeah.
I got like even agencies in the Netherlands were
Yeah.
paying people to get them usernames. Like it's crazy.
Yeah.
And again, this is just the beginning. But and I looked inside. I mean, I saw that people really like and feel more comfortable with this kind of new way of conversations and discussions. And as you said, they are more authentic. I think
Mm-hmm.
over there. So I really think I learned a lot from this just by watching the feeds there and just seeing like the intimacy around the topic. I'm
Yeah.
very excited. Yeah, and
Yeah.
I
Thank
guess
you.
you're so busy these days, so I'm just happy that you found time to also inspire others. And a lot of people wanted to hear about the app, of course, and you, because some of them knew you before. I guess that's why I really wanted to do this even before the hackathon, because we have a lot of participants also from the US, from all over the world. It's
Mm-hmm.
virtually, and yeah, it's amazing. And anything you can share, maybe I don't know if you can share future plans, but after the talk, if you can share, if you can throw some ideas for people who want to open camps in different topics,
Mm-hmm.
like give some examples
Yeah.
like that.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Well, I mean, for starters, like super, super happy to jump on this call. I think one of the things that Hugo and I have always stood for is that, look, we're a community app, so our community and our users make Bonfire what it is today. So we're always willing. We hop on phone calls with our users. We're constantly talking with them in our Bonfire feedback camp. Um, some of our best ideas have come from our users. So we're always open to that. And if there's anyone that's watching this that has a brilliant idea and want to reach out and tell us, we're always listening.
How
So
do they find you on the app? Of course, they're gonna find you, but
yeah. So I mean, I kind of was able to choose any username I wanted
yeah.
because I was the first user. But I'm at Austin on Bonfire. So you can just find me there. We have a number of official Bonfire camps on there too, like reporting bugs. Do it in, I think it's the Bonfire Bugs camp tag, we call it. And then yeah, they're all easy to discover on the discover page. So I mean, if you're to start new ones, I think there's two ways you can go about it. Like one of them is you can create a private camp. So private camps are great for your family or your best friends, and inside of private camps, no one else outside of that closed space can see what's going on. So that's one use case. And honestly, when we go to a lot of our like family, we're like, download the app. If there's one thing you use it for, it's our family camp. That's it. And then you can explore a little bit more. The other one is we have public ones where like some of them have over 1,000 people in them. We have an AMA on there. Another idea is like we had someone create a hot takes one where you share your unpopular opinions. And then sometimes you see that other people share that same opinion. We have a weird eaters one where you share your weird eating habits. There's some really funny content in there. I think like new camps though, I mean, I I think I'd probably be doing a disservice to like throw out ideas because I think the best ideas come from unique perspectives or unique like people because I think like the weird eaters or the mirror selfies one I would have never thought of.
Yeah,
That was just someone's idea. Then they went on the app and they created it and tons of people joined it.
yeah, I totally.
So I think my response there is everyone that's watching this is creative and they all have like an interest or a type of people that they like really mesh with well, whether it's a subreddit that they're in or a Facebook group or whatever it is. So um, I'm gonna leave that open ended, and I'm excited to see what they end up creating.
All right, we'll see where it leads to.
Yeah.
And they can find it in all the app stores, basically.
Yeah, so it's pretty easy to find on the iOS App Store at least. You just search Bonfire; it's the first result.
Yeah.
And then as for Android and the web, I mean, it pains me to say we're not on there yet. Although we actually just hired someone to start building out our web app,
Yeah.
and because that's built in React Native, we'll be able to port that over to Android rather easily. So yeah, I mean, the web app's coming in the next few months. If they want to reserve a username though, I believe they can do that on our website already. So if you just go to bonfire.camp, you just enter in your phone number. It may be US only right now though. Enter in your phone number, username you want, and then we'll send out a message when it's available on other platforms and stuff. So yeah, there's that. But yeah, if you have an iPhone, definitely download it. Definitely tag me on there and I'll respond to you and stuff. So yeah, I'm excited to have a lot of new developers and designers get on there. That'll be awesome.
That's what's good. We are a global, we are the World Hackathon Day. I just looked at the stats and we have from all the countries already 250 participants from all over the world and working on ideas.
Oh, wow.
And we're going to also work after the hackathon. So it's going to be like a real community. We're going to do a matchathon in June.
Oh, that's awesome.
Like a networking events, and maybe you can appear there so people can network you with business opportunities or partnership ideas, because we have mentors, we have speakers like you, we have corporates, companies like Microsoft and others.
Awesome.
So it's a great tool for networking, and we're going to do it right after the hackathon on a date that we will pick up, and it will be during the week, like not the weekend, more like a business way. So thank you very much for this very nice conversation. I learned a lot.
Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. I always have tons of fun talking about it. So that's great.
Yeah. And we're gonna share it. We're gonna share it with everybody and our community, and just let's see how it develops, and keep us updated. Maybe we're gonna do another video with new features that you're gonna announce. And awesome, really amazing.
Awesome.
Thank you so much, Austin. And I can't wait to meet with you in New York when everything will go back to the new normal.
Yeah, I can't wait. That'd be great.
All right.
All right.
See you. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Absolutely.
Bye-bye.
Yep.